Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal, and I'm joined by Colin G. Cooper. He's a video director. It's very cool to have you here.
Very much. It's cool to be here.
Yeah. It's very fun watching all your videos. They're pretty wild.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you watched them.
Yeah. It's it's a little different for the show. Do they show a lot of music videos at festivals?
At certain festivals, yeah. I wasn't really familiar with whether or not they were shown at genre festivals, but kind of the purpose of me doing genre music videos over the past couple of years is because I'm trying to get into the genre film space. And so I started researching genre festivals and discovered that quite a few of them actually do take music videos.
Now that you mention, actually, my local one, Boston Underground Film Festival, they always they have a whole block of music. It's not necessarily horror, but it's just weird music videos.
Cool.
Yeah. So you have a music video playing at Shriekfest coming up, and that's very cool. With an artist that you work a lot with.
Yeah, she's actually the reason I got into music videos. I was working in television at the time as an editor. And her manager was one of my best friends. And he just, I also had experience directing, and he asked if I would do a music video for no money. And her and I ended up getting pretty close in the process. And she's called Tasha the Amazon. And I live in Toronto, and in Canada, there's this, there was until recently a major network in Canada. Do you know Much Music in Canada? It's like our MTV.
No.
It's our equivalent of MTV. They used to have a funding program where they would give up to $30,000 to fund a music video,
nice.
Which is very significant, obviously. And we got one of those grants shortly after we had made that first video, and that video went on to win Best Hip Hop Video at the Much Music Video Awards, which are kind of like our MTV VMAs, and they're pretty much as big. Like we had the Jonas Brothers were hosting the year that we won. And,
oh wow!
Yeah, and Lorde performed and stuff. So pretty much on the same level as the MTV VMAs.
Yeah. I should have mentioned this probably right away, but it's Forever Ting, which is the music video that's gonna be playing at Shriekfest, and as you said, by Tasha the Amazon. Now, are all her music fit into the genre, into a horror genre?
No, we the album that song is from, as well as the other songs of hers that I sent you videos for, that's all from one album that came from a sci-fi headspace. Mm-hmm. And so because I had wanted to play around with those genres, we discussed if she was open to doing more sci-fi. And then we have the one that's a little bit more horror as well, Helluva Ride. And she was open to it, so we went in that direction.
No, you said this is something you wanted to get into, genre film. So are you a horror movie fan? Are you a sci-fi fan?
Very, very much so. Yeah, horror movies changed my life for the better at the time. But when I was in preschool, I had a babysitter who was a bit of a wimp, and I was watching Tim Burton's Beetlejuice.
Okay.
And this was VHS days. And after Beetlejuice, my parents had recorded the original Nightmare on Elm Street. So this not brave babysitter was afraid of Beetlejuice. So he went upstairs and I watched it alone. And I was 4 or 5. And it just went right into A Nightmare on Elm Street afterwards because he had fallen asleep upstairs. So I ended up watching that movie as a 4 or 5-year-old, and I developed sleep paralysis from it.
Oh.
And in my sleep paralysis episodes, I would see Freddy Krueger, and he would be in the corner of the room at first, and then he would approach my bed eventually, and then I would wake up. And I had those from that age until I was 12 years old. finally.
Oh, I thought you said you did change for the better. It doesn't sound like it was changed.
So for the better now. It was for the worse at the time, but it just got me into the genre, and then now I love the genre.
Yeah. So during that period though, did you continue to watch horror movies, or did you stay away from them for those like 6 years?
I became curious about horror movies and watched more of them, but I couldn't watch any of the subsequent Nightmare on Elm Street films. It was really triggering just to see him at all. We used to have, in the town that I grew up in, there's this rental place called Bandito Video. And I remember when they released one of those, they had like the life-size cardboard cutout of Freddy in the store, and I couldn't even go in. Like I would just break out crying, I couldn't even go in the store to rent videos.
Have you watched him since? Can you watch him now? Or?
I've watched all of them since, yeah. And actually, my Rachel Tilale, she directed one of them. She teaches directing at the film school that I went to, actually, in the University of British Columbia in Vancouver.
Or do you have a favorite?
The original, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of. I think it's more like, do you have a favorite sequel?
Oh yeah, I like the. Is it the? It's the second one, right? Where it's become in the queer community. Yeah. It's become like, I really like that one.
Yeah, that one's good too. And I think the most underrated one is New Nightmare, just because I think it's interesting itself.
I really like that one actually, and I like that it was him coming back to put his as a director to put his fingerprint on it again in a different way. Yeah.
And I kind of like the whole idea. It's kind of most horror fans are, they all those franchises is really about the villain, and it's an interesting question, like why are we attracted to the villain?
Yeah. Also, that was one of the being that meta wasn't really in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it's kind of overdone at this point. But
but it was ahead of its time in that sense for sure.
Yeah. So it was pretty wild makeup in Forever Ting.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was specifically in reference to the artist Robin Eisenberg. She does these, I guess they're supposed to be alien. I don't know for sure, but it's like similar to the video. They're drawings of alien girls just like hanging out doing, casual things. And that was a big inspiration for us. And so we just found a really great body paint artist to do that. And then the actress was willing to, that's her real hair. She was willing to get rid of most of her hair and just keep that the bunch at the top that's the same color as the wardrobe, and it's long braids. And
is that hard? Do you have to continually touch it up? Does it like rub off the body paint?
So it's really high quality body paint, so it doesn't rub off unless you really if you like got dragged on something, or accidentally pushed hard against something that was really fibrous, you would take some of it off. But there really wasn't much touch-ups. The only stuff we really had to touch up was like the bottoms of her feet, because obviously you're walking around.
I assume that is it hard to get off, or do they have like something substance to?
There's a solution of sorts that you use to shower and use it like a cleanser.
Yeah. So when you're coming up with music videos, like I don't know how it works. Is there a script? Is it like a traditional like a short movie or something?
It really depends. I was with an agency for a while, which is how I did one of the ones that I said that's like a bigger video for an artist called Rezz, who's actually quite a big electronic artist these days. With the agency, it's more akin to like the commercial world, where when they have a project, they send it out to all these agencies, and the directors on that agency's roster can pitch on it. And some people pitch in like a pseudo screenplay format, almost like a treatment, or like a scriptment. And other people just pitch with visuals, references, and some description. I used to lean in that direction when I was working with an agency, just because it seemed to get more responses. People don't like to read, I guess. They get to,
all right.
Especially if they're getting a ton, Yeah, but with some artists, once you establish a relationship with them, like with Tasha, she just comes to me directly. And actually after that Rezz video, I was going to do her next video, and it was same situation. No pitching was involved. Her team just came directly to me, but it got canceled. We had actually already started pre-production and booked locations and everything when lockdown started in 2020.
Yeah. So when it's someone that you work a lot with, like, do they how involved are they? Do they come up with ideas, or do they have a basic idea of the video, or is it kind of like you hear the song and this is my idea?
That also varies pretty widely. Some artists, I would say some of the time it's because they trust your idea, but other times, unfortunately makes it sound bad, but some artists they're not that invested in the music videos that are released for them, which seems strange to me. And so they just you're mostly developing the idea or communicating the idea with their managers, and don't have a lot of input, which is, it doesn't feel quite as good, because even if you do a really good job, it feels better when they're into it too. Right. Yeah. And then, some artists are very hands-on, which can also be good or bad, because sometimes, you're butt heads. But.
Right. And when you finish the video, so are they watching it while you're making it, or do they just see the end product? Or it probably varies, I guess.
Yeah, it does vary. They're, when they're in it, obviously they're seeing it being made. But even then, so the one again with Rezz, which features the drummer and singer from Under Oath, which is like a pretty big metal band. In fact, the year that we did that video, they had been nominated for the Grammy for Best Metal Performance. So in that case, because most of the video is Erin from Under Oath, Rezz, she came and we shot all of her scenes up at the top, because she had a very busy schedule, and then she was gone for the rest of the shoot. She was there for maybe a quarter of the shoot, and then it was just with Erin for the rest of it.
Do you play the music a lot, like while you're filming it, so you guys you get to feel the music while you're shooting?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and also when if you have performance scenes where they're singing to the song as well, obviously, we do play back on set.
Right, that would make sense. Yeah. Are you a hip hop fan?
I am a hip hop fan. Yeah, less so recently, but traditionally I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what are some of your favorites?
My favorites. Wow. I'm gonna try to not say any really obvious ones that are everybody's favorite. There's people that I'm really into, but that I feel like I'm into and I'm not. I really like the Kanye West album Yeezus, but then I really don't like the rest of his catalog. Okay. There was it was very it was a darker, more experimental vibe, and it had some industrial influence that I really liked. I get more into lesser known people. There's this guy called Zebra Cats, who's I guess he's gaining some steam, but he's very also a darker industrial vibe to it. Saul Williams, he's I would say his moment where he was the most known is, I think this was in the mid 2000s. Trent Reznor produced an album for him that was very interesting and had a very different vibe for what was mainstream hip hop at the time. And I listened to that album a lot. Those are some of my favorites.
Interesting. So, like I was saying earlier, I think it's interesting that they play the music videos at the festivals, and I think that's really cool because not only when you're watching a movie on the big screen, I think some people overlook the sound, and you really feel it. So the music video really plays with that. But when you're making it, normally music videos are on TV or on online nowadays. So when you're filming it, as opposed to somebody's making a movie, they probably, think in their mind this is meant to be seen cinematic. So,
Right.
do you think of your your videos as cinematic when you're making them?
I try to, yeah. Unfortunately, sometimes when you're working with bigger artists that have like a marketing team involved, they can become obsessed with social media formats.
Right.
And it becomes
on Instagram.
Exactly. And it becomes harder to argue for high quality cameras, high quality equipment, even having a big crew, because to them, they think, well, most people are going to see this on social media. So why should we pay you to, why should we pay extra to have a cinema camera, et cetera? And yeah, that sucks. But, it's usually when you have an artist who's really involved in the video process, it's pretty easy to be like, hey, can we shoot this on an Alexa? And they're usually like, yeah, because it makes them excited.
Yeah.
But when it's a less involved artist and you're mostly dealing with their promotions people or their label, it becomes more about, well, what's the end product and what's the most affordable way we can do this?
Yeah. It reminds me of quick stories. I was on set on a movie, a short film I was in, and I was the oldest person there. And anyway, one of the younger, they're all young, but one of the guys, he was like, he does podcasts too. And he mentioned that he puts them on Instagram. And but anyway, so they're all under 60 seconds. And I was like, so like clips? And he's like, no, that's the whole thing. And I was like, I don't understand. And like, and I mentioned I had some interviews that are 4 hours. This one won't be 4 hours, so don't worry.
Yeah.
But and he couldn't understand as much as I couldn't understand the 60-second one. But so I actually went and looked at another time, and they weren't even full sentences. They were like buzzwords and it was like an interview, but it was cut down to like these and I couldn't wrap my head around why anyone would make this, but apparently people watch it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. There's plenty of content for that could compete for shortest attention span. For sure.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So have you been to a festival or you've seen your videos on the big screen with people?
I have. Yeah. I went to the May version of Film Quest, which was held over from 2020. And that was really cool. I had two videos playing there. And previous to that, I had in Toronto, there's this thing every year called Toronto New Wave, which is a festival dedicated to what they consider kind of like the new wave of like talent in various categories. And short films and music videos are two of them, and they have like VR stuff. And I had a video playing in that as well. I think those are the only times I've seen my videos play on the big screen.
What's that experience like, seeing something you made with an audience on the big screen?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, I was actually more excited just because, I grew up I'm in my mid 30s. So I grew up when, MTV was king and in Canada, Much Music. And so that was like the benchmark for me. It was like, if you have videos playing on TV, that's really cool. And luckily, the first couple of bigger budget videos that I did were when Much Music in Canada still was popular and still aired music videos. And the first time that I saw one on Much Music, that was, for me, was like, because I used to, I would watch that as a kid, and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah,
that's awesome. Actually, do you have any favorite music videos of your youth?
Of my youth? Oh, yeah, man, a lot. I was a huge fan of, and still am a huge fan of, Mark Romanek. So he did like 9 Inch Nails' Closer, which is still one of the greatest. Even if I
actually listened to the whole album on my walk earlier today.
Oh my god! Yeah. Great. That's an incredible.
Usually album. I listen to stuff that I listened to in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. And he did Perfect Drug as well. He did Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt. He did Scream, the Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, which at the time was the most expensive music video ever made. Yeah, at the MoMA in New York, Museum of Modern Art, there's like a handful of music videos that are in their permanent 35 millimeter collection because they're considered culturally relevant, and 3 of them are his. CJ was just incredible. And then there's from Toronto, Floria Sigismondi. Her background's Italian, but she's from Toronto, and she like her first big thing was The Beautiful People. Marilyn Manson, and then she went on to do a lot of Bowie videos, and she kind of popularized a number of aesthetics that became standard in horror, like the body motion, where something
kind of the jerky kind of
thing. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then she did what people call lens whacking, where you unseat the lens and move it around so that your depth of field gets really wacky and blurry. And she doesn't actually receive as much credit as she should for that stuff, but and she went on to do, she's directed now like multiple episodes of The Handmaid's Tale and some of the Marvel series like Punisher and stuff like that. So she's, she's still doing.
Now you mentioned that, like, I mean, it's everywhere, the herky jerky kind of thing. And it's, but yeah, I think that's the first time I saw it was probably in the Manson.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what made you want to get into, so when you started to become an editor and everything, was your goal to eventually, like, I want to make music videos, I want to make movies, like, what did you want to pursue?
I kind of had a pretty specific idea of what I wanted to do, which was I was going to edit, and then every once in a while I wanted to direct. Mm-hmm. Essentially, I didn't want to be a career director, and I still don't think I want to. I have seen people and got to meet some pretty big people when I was in film school who are like career directors. And to me, you're committing so much of yourself to something when you're directing that I think it would be really soul-sucking to do that on things that you didn't love and you're doing it because it was your career. It's like, oh, this one's just for a paycheck. And I just feel like that would hurt a lot. And I think probably hurts your craft over time. But editing, I love not being around other people for one thing. So that's helpful. Uh-huh. And, everybody thinks, writers think writing is the most important step of filmmaking. Directors think shooting is, and editors think editing is. But when you're editing, that's the time that the film is actually being made.
Actually putting it all together.
Yeah, and then it's over. There's nobody can help you after that. That's it. So it's a very incredibly important.
I know
step.
People told me stories about fixing a movie in editing where it needed fixing, and other people said movie might have been ruined in the editing. So
absolutely. What's it called? Coppola, The Conversation. Mm-hmm. When he won the Palme. I might be wrong about which award. I'm pretty sure it's the Palme d'Or. He won the Palme d'Or for that and gave it to what the hell's his name? The editor, because he in Coppola's opinion, he had Walter Murch, that's his name, the editor, had saved the movie in editing. So as an example, you're right. Yeah, there's that definitely occurs where movies are saved in editing or ruined in editing. I mean, when you hear about a director saying that the producers ruined the movie or whatever, that it was taken away from them, that's editing. Somebody edited it differently than how the director wanted it edited.
Right. I mean, like a movie I really like, Brazil. I don't know if you know the movie.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got several cuts of the movie, and like if you watch his cut, it's amazing. And then if you watch the cut that they put out theatrically, it's a totally different movie. And
yeah, absolutely,
it's the whole point of the film. And
that happens a lot. I mean, I don't know if Lynch's version was ever released of Dune, but the Dune that was released theatrically was not his intention.
Yeah.
And
I remember when it first came out, they even gave you like a pamphlet of to explain what was happening. It was very strange.
Makes sense though.
Yeah. Dawn of the Dead, the Italian cut of it, like they cut out all the comedy. I don't think it's as fun, but yeah, it's interesting. You can take the same movie and just cut it, and it's a completely different thing.
Oh yeah, it could have a completely different tone pacing. So, but sorry, I was just confirming it was the Palme d'Or for the conversation. That they won, and then Coppola gave it to Walter Murch because he felt that he had made the movie what it was.
So have you you said you would like to eventually do a movie or so. Have you done like short films?
Very, very long time ago, when I was in film school, I did 2 shorts as a director, and at the time, TIFF, Toronto International Film Festival, used to do a student showcase every year, and I don't remember how many films they chose for it each year, but a small amount. And my grad film was screened at TIFF Student Showcase that year, but I haven't done any shorts since that time because I just went into editing. Mm-hmm. But I have, over several years, like beginning in 2014, I've built this. I have 5 features in a television series that are all connected in the same universe that I think 2 of them I'm ready to find people to make them with, but the rest of them not yet. I put a lot of research into them. They're all they're part of the reason that I think they're ready now is that they're all socio-political allegory, and in recent years the subjects that they're about have become people care about more than they did.
That's one of the great things about genres, that you can talk about those things without. It's
the best way to. Yeah. It's the best because if you're not doing it in a way where you're shoving an issue in someone's face,
right,
using it as subtext, or even where it's not technically subtext in something like Get Out, it's still done in a way where you don't feel like you're being spoken down to. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the great things about genre. Comedy is similar in that way too. Yeah. And
it's really weird that people on social media today think that's like a new thing, because I'll see people talk about the new Candyman, or even I even was in an argument. People were telling me that Star Trek does that now, and I was like, have you ever watched the original show? Or that's like the whole point of the original series.
Yeah, I mean, even the first Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, genre has been speaking to political issues for a very long time.
Mm. Do you foresee editing your own things as different? Because then you have to cut stuff out that maybe you're personally connected to, or because talking to people on the show, a lot of directors I know who are editors by trade, but that's like their day job, are a little better editing their own things because they can see it as the story as opposed to that they're personally connected to something.
Yeah, I mean, I still haven't decided how I feel about that. How I'm going to do that in my own work. As a music video director, I edit all my own stuff, but part of that is just because I've edited for a long time. When I'm planning a shoot as a director, I have the edit in my head, and I don't mean to condescend to anybody else who's a director and not an editor, but I hear directors say that who are not editors, but then I see how they work. I've visited sets of friends who are directors often, and they don't. They say, "Oh, I know the edit already," and it's like, well, if you really knew the edit, you wouldn't be getting you wouldn't be getting this extra coverage that you're not going to use, and I know you're not going to use it because I know you've explained this show to me. But there's another side to it, which is it can be beneficial to just have somebody else's translation or interpretation of the work, So as a director, it can be beneficial to work, even if you can edit, to have an editor who's, really good to have their own stab at it. So I don't know. It's kind of like a battle between efficiency and inspiration on that front. But we'll see. Also, because of the projects that I want to do, these features and the series that I want to do, because of the political elements that are in them, I don't think I'm going to direct them alone. I'd like to collaborate with people who are actually representative of the demographic that is being spoken about. And so in that case, it changes how I would be invested in terms of editing my own work. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. So I assume you're not going to be at Shriekfest because you're in Canada, and I know
I'm going to be. I will be at Shriekfest.
Oh, very awesome. That's awesome then.
Yeah, I'll be at Shriekfest, and then I'll be at FilmQuest again too in October.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Well, it's a stupid question. I was asking, are you looking forward to watch? Obviously, you're not going to go and just watch your own thing. So I assume you're into the genre, so I assume you're going to go and watch some of the other horror films.
Yeah, and actually, some people that I met at FilmQuest in end of May, early June, that I befriended, have projects playing there as well. Nice.
And that's a good way to to find other people that you might work with on your own features.
Yeah, there's a couple of people that I got closer to than others. Do you know? I hope I don't say his name wrong. Vincente DeSanti.
That name sounds.
Never Hike Alone.
Oh yeah, I know that. Yeah,
the guy who directed that. I met him at FilmQuest, and he's a cool guy. And I help run this. Or help run is an overstatement. I'm like a creative consultant for this big like metal and punk festival in Las Vegas called Psycho Las Vegas, and he was already going to the festival for a friend's bachelor party, and so when they came up, I hooked them up with like VIP passes and all this stuff, and he has a project that he produced that'll be playing at Shriekfest, so I'll definitely catch that, and a couple of other people that I met at FilmQuest have projects playing as well that I'll definitely catch.
Yeah. No, Film Fest, that's, I mentioned earlier, one of the things I really missed during the pandemic was, I love to watch movies online and on my TV and stuff, but I watch them on the big screen and with fellow, fans of the genre. It's a totally different experience.
Yeah, I did. I went to some screenings at TIFF this year, and they did like a mixed. There were still digital screenings, but they're in-person screenings. They had it so it's like for every two people, there's two empty seats next to them, and it was cool. It was amazing because they didn't do it like that in 2020, obviously, and it was amazing to be back. And I don't know if you've ever been to TIFF or you're that familiar with it.
No. But, I know it, but I've been to it. Yeah. The
Midnight Madness program at TIFF is like the best, in my opinion, genre program at any festival, and I've gone to a lot of festivals. And it was great to see that back. They opened it this year with Titan, Julia Ducournau, who did Raw.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Her new feature. It won the Palme d'Or. She won the Palme d'Or this year with it, and it's insane. It's so good, and but it's crazy, and you should check it out.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. That's very cool, and it's cool that you're so into this, and I'm looking forward to your future work.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and you have a lot of your videos on your website.
I do, yeah, because I use that for getting work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, right.
I just send them to the website.
Yeah, what is the website? I don't have it.
It's just Colin G Cooper, all is one word .com.
Yeah, well, that's easy to remember.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, people should go check that out, I think.
Yeah, please, people, check it out. If you're a musician, hire me for a music video.
There you go. And where can people follow you? Well, they can go to your website, but do you have other social media?
I do not, other than Instagram. I don't use Facebook or Twitter, but and then Instagram is the same. It's just my name, Colin G Cooper, all one word, no dots or anything.
Yeah, I was suspended a few times this last couple months from Facebook. 3 days, 7 days. But I noticed when I was gone 7 days, I got a lot more done in life.
That is one of the reasons I do not use Twitter or Facebook anymore, is because of
Yeah. So I was like, maybe I should just stay off this thing.
Yeah, you can burn a lot of time to
argue with complete morons about something that's totally.
Or just get really angry and ruin your day for no reason.
Right. Like, why am I here? Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's what people think when they're watching my show. No. This has been very fun, and I hope you check out your videos at Shriekfest. Your video Shriekfest.
Cool.
And we'll do this again sometime.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.